This conference will now be recorded.
Wow.
Time is now 6 p.m. I'm going to call to order the Tilton Planning Board meeting for Tuesday, January 13th, 2026. And this is a public hearing of our new zoning and meeting amendments as well as a regular meeting. So I'm going to open the meeting and open the public hearing. I'm going to have Christine read the amendments, and we will have that open for at least an hour. If there are any comments to be made.
Okay. So you want me to just start with Article 1?
Mm-hmm. Amendment 2, just start with Article 2.
Okay. Amendment number 1. Are you in favor of the adoption of Amendment number 1 as proposed by the Planning Board for Town Zoning Ordinance as follows? Adopting in Article 10, a Section 10.8 permitting accessory dwelling units, ADUs, in all zoning districts which permits single-family dwellings provided they meet zoning district standards which apply to single-family dwellings are not less than 750 square feet or greater than 950 square feet in size. Comply with all building codes. Do not obtain more than 2 bedrooms. One of the dwellings must be owner-occupied and may not be sold separately from the principal single dwelling unit. A complete copy of the proposed amendment is available at Town Hall during regular business hours and can be viewed on the town website.
Okay.
You want comments first?
No, why don't we read them all, and then if there are any comments, we'll have those.
Amendment number 2. Are you in favor of the adoption of Amendment number 2 as proposed by the Planning Board for the town zoning ordinance as follows? Adopting in Article 2, Section 2.1, a definition of backland lot. Back lot or backland means a lot that does not have frontage on a public street, typically accessed via an easement over another property. In New Hampshire, the term backland lot typically refers to a parcel of land that is landlocked, meaning it lacks direct access to a public road. Accessing such a property usually requires crossing land owned by others, often via easement. Amendment number 3. Are you in favor of the adoption of Amendment number 3 as proposed by the Planning Board for the town zoning ordinance as follows? Adopting in Article 2, Section 2.1, a definition of potable water. In New Hampshire, potable water is defined as water that is safe to drink and is free from impurities in amounts sufficient to cause disease or harmful physiological effects. This means water that is safe for human consumption, including drinking and preparing food, and meets specific health standards set by state authorities. Health and safety. Potable water must not contain contaminants, pathogens, or harmful substances in quantities that could lead to illness or other health problems. Treatment and standards. Water from public supplies is treated to remove contaminants and meet these health standards. The state of New Hampshire has established specific maximum contaminant levels, MCLs, for certain substances such as PFAS compounds to protect public health. Explains the New Hampshire Department of Environmental Services. Private wells. Individuals with private wells are responsible for testing their own water to ensure that it is potable, as many contaminants are not detectable by taste, smell, or color, notes NHDED. Enforcement. Local officials and health officers can prohibit the use of water that is found to be unfit for drinking with approval from NHDED, according to the New Hampshire Department of Health and Human Services.
Okay, these are the amendments that will appear when you go to the polls to vote. Are there any comments on any one of these now at this time? Miss Kathy, you want to get the microphone and identify yourself too, please, Kathy.
Kathy Mitchell, Taylorfield Road. I had a couple questions, but on the backland lots, I was just curious what your rationale was for removing residential and the access width. The new one does not mention either of those. And I was just curious what you were thinking.
from removing what again, Kathy?
Is it residential?
The original that is in existence today includes the words residential and a 50-foot wide right-of-way or easement. And I was curious why you had chosen to remove those.
Anybody have any comments about that?
Well, I think for easement in general, that there's a requirement of how wide it can be. It can't be a walking easement, right?
What does it, the present one say for backland lot? I'm gonna find it.
It's on page 11.
In my binder.
Madam Chair,
Yes.
the backland lot that was in the definitions there was put in as a placeholder when we did the zoning amendment changes.
So there was no definition
We have a definition in our zoning regulations,
on page 11.
and the only way it could get there is if it was voted and approved by the legislative body. Because it's in our zoning regulations. The only thing that's missing in the current definition is the description of a lot that does not have frontage on a public street, typically accessed via an easement over another property. That's the only thing that's missing.
And the word residential, she said.
Yeah,
No, so the
Oh, on this one.
current definition that we have for
That's on page
backland
11.
lot is only missing that descriptive, what I just read. Right? What is resident?
Does not have frontage.
well, and also the one that the amendment actually gives a definition more so than the one.
So this is the first public hearing. You could have another public hearing. You'd have time to have a second public hearing if you wanted
Do
to
a
change it.
second.
Well, I'm not sure we need to change it.
Well, if you go with the proposed, you're eliminating the existing.
But the
think
only
that-
thing I see missing is the residential
And the 50-foot wide.
and the 50-foot wide.
I mean, we did mention easement, so we just didn't say,
Yeah, and I don't think it's necessary to, because it doesn't have to be residential.
that's true.
That's my take on it. Does anybody
Yeah.
else have any comments?
Yeah, because whether it's residential or not is based on the zoning district it's
Exactly.
in.
Depends on the use. There's a lot in the current one that's not in this one. In the subdivision, the width of an easement, blah, blah, blah. No two exclusive rights of way. There's quite a bit in there. And I think the question is, do we want to eliminate all of that?
Some of the laws have changed on Class 6 roads and backland lots,
Yeah,
which would,
which are state laws.
No, but this doesn't talk about class 6 roads.
It has
Says
Talks
class
about class
5.
five roads.
To a class 5 or
Class
better
5 or
road.
better road.
Right.
So I would say just take
Well-
this definition and add,
I don't think we need all of that. My own opinion is that we don't need all of that
Right,
other
because
information.
the easement is already described in the subdivision regulation, so as long as we reference the word easement, we don't have to say the width.
yeah, but you don't.
I mean, it's a little bit of a hat on a hat in one sense, but it is nice to be able to find everything in one location. But unfortunately, you kind of have to cross-reference many sections of the book if you're trying to do something.
There isn't a definition, and at least I couldn't find one in subdivision.
No,
Backland lot.
that's why we added.
But that happens.
But
Madam Chair,
I don't see that all of the other information is necessary. And I don't think that we need residential. That's definitely not necessary. 'Cause
No, it
that
probably isn't.
restricts it. And it shouldn't be restricted to that.
Yeah, 'cause
What was the other
then we
one that
could-
was,
50-foot,
Oh.
50-foot right-of-way easement. We did mention easement, but let me.
yes, we have this
does it
easement in
mention
there.
Easement in subdivision?
There's a lot of different types of easements in subdivision.
Yeah, so as long as it's approved easement.
I think that's necessary. I don't think anything else is necessary. I don't know how anybody else feels, but does that explain to you why we feel the way we do about it?
I guess I'm curious, I understand about the zoning, that works. But the lack of any kind of regulation for the egress or access road.
Mm.
Because if you have one house, that would be a little bit different than if you had a back lot with 240 apartments.
mm,
Well, they would come to subdivision, they would have to have a site plan for all that. But if they have an easement and they want to build,
Who holds, you don't hold the easement.
right, as long as the easement's there, it's an easement.
That's why I like the 50-foot.
Yeah, I know mine was 50-foot. We have a minimum on it doesn't say on the easement? Let's see.
Well, it's like here's for driveways, maximum driveway width for residential single-family duplex lot should be 16 feet at the right of way. I mean, like I said, it talks about a lot.
I think we could cut out the whole in a subdivision, the width of exclusive right of way or easement shall not be part of the frontage. I think that's what's important.
you can still change what you have here and incorporate the backland lot that's existing now in the zoning reg and still have, we don't have any cases on the 27th and still have a second public hearing and incorporate what you want.
I guess my point is I don't think it's necessary, but I'll go along with whatever the rest of the board feels. I think what's important is it does not have frontage on a public street.
Right, but if we don't have something saying an easement certain width, we don't want like a little walkway.
No.
Yeah. And if they can get if we say 50-foot, they can get a variance if they need like one section to be 45 or something like that. Just trying to see if we have easements somewhere here. We don't even have a definition.
Mm-mm.
Huh. You might want to add that.
It is, amendment number 2 is repetitive. The last two sentences say basically the same thing as the top part.
Are you accepting any other comments at this time?
Yes.
Chuck Mitchell, Caleb Hill Road. I do think that one of the things that bothers me just a little is when there are certain kinds of restrictions that are in the current language, to remove all of them and say that they're not necessary. By removing them, that means the town can never go back later and fall on any of those if there becomes a problem. By at least leaving them in and changing the rest of the language, I think that would be fine. Thank you.
Thank you, Chuck.
I don't find 50-foot easement anywhere in
I know,
subdivision
that's what
so
I'm
far.
worried about, yeah.
Can you find it, Catherine?
Not yet.
25-foot easement for waterway.
Do we specify driveway or like roadway widths?
There's another
Because
one, easement
if you have to build a
34.
50-foot wide, roadway and you only have a 20-foot easement, you can't do it.
Oh. That's the same paragraph that was on the other page. Water courses proposed for public control shall have a permanent easement of not less than 20 feet. Oh, I did read driveways a few minutes ago. Let me go back to that. But a driveway is not an easement. They're talking about
Right, a driveway
driveways.
has a minimum,
What is it, when it's over 400 feet or so?
but I think they have a minimum width too.
Right,
Driveway.
if you're making a driveway.
Yeah,
So in the table of
36.
dimensional values, we do have an entry about backland lots that does specify most of the language that was removed.
Nice.
In a subdivision, the width of an easement or access shall not be part of the minimum frontage required for any individual lot.
If you look on page, I think it's 47, under the chart of the table of dimensional values, in note number 7, a backland lot used for residential purpose shall have a minimum of 50 foot of road frontage or have an easement similar width such that each backland has a private access to a class 5 or better road. No two easements shall be closer together than the minimum frontage required for a standard lot as per the above table of dimension values. In subdivision, the width of an easement or access shall not be part of the minimum frontage required for any individual lot. No more than 2 backland lots can be accessed through any one easement. It's number 7 on the notes.
So that's basically the definition.
Yeah.
On page 37 in the subdivision under right-of-way, the board may request greater width of right-of-way where in its judgment the width is warranted due to present or future demands. Table. There's a table on here. But it doesn't,
Well, that note 7 does take care of ones used for residential.
So essentially, does that mean it's a judgment call on whether or not the board thinks the roadways in a subdivision are wide enough or improved to
I'd have
be
to,
necessary?
yeah, basically it gives us leeway to make it wider, but I haven't found, I mean, I'd have to do some studying on this subdivision. To find widths. Looks like there's a table in here. I was
Madam Chair,
looking for the table.
are you aware of how wide a paving machine is?
What is it?
Pardon?
Are you aware of how wide a pavement machine is? Residential pavement machine?
Typically 9 to 16 feet.
Yeah, you're right. It's 9.
Well,
I
I
asked
mean, it
for-
depends on how far the wings go out, but
When my driveway was redone, I asked him if I could do 10 feet, and he said no. Because that was Mr. Chambers,
Mm.
and he said that's what he does. He does 9 feet. That's his machine. And I said, is that typical? He said, yes, it is. That's typical. The ones that are wider are usually more for commercial.
Hmm.
And he's going from,
does he not do 2-lane width driveways then? Because I mean, all you have to do is do 2 passes and
he does.
make sure you
Yeah,
cover
He
the
does,
seam,
but
so
the
you get 8
tip,
feet
the tip,
wide.
he could go 3 wide or 4 wide. I mean,
But
that's
that
irrelevant.
doesn't
Is what
really
his
have anything to
standard,
do with this.
what his standard job is 9 feet. That's what he does. Now, at
Well, that's
the
the
opening,
cheapest you can get.
huh?
That's probably the cheapest you can get.
Well, I didn't ask him that. I put out 3 bids. But the idea is that the opening from the street is wider than the driveway because you can make the swing. Follow me?
Yeah, the apron.
But I've had trucks there that had a hard time staying on the pavement. And this 7'6" is a maximum. Because they don't know how to back up, basically. But I asked him that question when he paved my driveway. And he did, I have a turnaround at the end. And he had to go, to several widths over that.
Yeah, probably had to do 2 or 3 pulls to make the pad.
Passage, and then beside that, but from the house down to the end of the fence is 9 feet.
Yeah.
And that's typical. There's another person that I have lunch with, and her son does the same thing.
Let's get back to the
But that's why when you're seeing an easement or a driveway permit, you got to be, if you're going to put in a street, you have to have 2-way traffic.
So the state of New Hampshire has easements tend to be 10 to 20 feet wide, and they're calling it, driveways. I think we went 50 at that time, so it would be a 2-way.
Right.
So if it's a 1-way or one person up, one person back, the standard's 10 to 20 feet.
and we're saying more than that. We're saying a minimum of 50. So
But we
in
don't,
our-
we took it out. That's why she's asking why.
In our subdivision on page 38, paragraph 5, this is for driveways. Maximum driveway width for residential, single family and duplex lots shall be 16 feet at the right of way with 10-foot radial at the edge of pavement of the street. Maximum width for residential, family and duplex lots shall be determined by the needs of the fire department. But yet we've got 50 feet in that definition. That's kind of interesting.
I think it was for 2-way. So like if somebody was putting a subdivision in and they were going to have like a road and then a turnaround, they'd have to do a 2-way, which would be the 50 feet.
I said I
Like
can't-
cul-de-sacs.
right of way.
Rather than belaboring this, how about if we go on to number 3?
Oh, yeah.
Pardon?
She said rather than
Oh.
keep going on, now let's go on to number 3 because we'll have to look at
Look
that
at
one
that one.
after.
There's
Okay.
a chart on page 41.
Oh, phew. Right of way, which is like an easement, right?
Mhm.
Yep.
Private says minimum 50 feet. Do you see that here, Jane? So right of way, 50
Yeah.
feet, 50 feet, that's different.
Yeah.
So it is described on the chart.
Yep.
All right, it's 50 feet. Okay.
It had to be in there.
Hmm. So we'll work on that one later.
Well, the 50 feet is automatic now, so do we have to work on that later?
It seems like everything
already
that
in
was
this table.
removed
Oh,
from the
okay, if it's already
definition
in the
is
table.
covered
Yes.
in other places in the zoning.
So we'll go on to number 3. So we're all set with that one now? Since we found it. Catherine, where again was that? It was page 40?
41. I should just shut my book.
It's table 2.0 on 41.
Yep. Oh,
Okay.
no.
All right.
Yeah, 41,
So that
right?
it has the 50 feet in there. All right. Are you number 3?
Okay, I have some comments I'd like.
Okay.
As I look at your words, potable water must not contain contaminants. I think we're all in agreement on that, especially if you're thinking about E. coli or plutonium. However, DES says that 50% of bedrock wells in New Hampshire have significant amounts of radon. 30% have high levels of arsenic. Iron and manganese also are found in high levels. And sodium from road salt is becoming a greater problem. They go on to say the use of a private well for a home is not subject to regulation, has no required water sampling, has no mandatory water treatment for contaminants. When the owner or user of a private well does sample the water, they are responsible for evaluating and deciding what, if anything, the water should be treated for. All costs related to installing, maintaining, repairing, replacing any component of the water system, including the well, is the responsibility of the private well owner. This ordinance has good intentions, but if my well contains iron and manganese in high levels, how is the town ever going to know? Are you going to visit every resident? It says the health officer and the select board will be in charge of this. Are you going to demand that I test my water? Are you going to expect that I'm going to do something with my well when DES says that's not a responsibility? You go on to say prohibit. The use of water is prohibited in number, I think it's the 4th section.
Mhm.
Again, what are you going to do? You're going to fine me, jail me, declare my house uninhabitable? Is this really enforceable? Would I need to go to the ZBA to get a special exception if I were to be challenged on this? You also say, with the approval of DES, DES obviously does not approve private wells. And the other minor point is you use the term New Hampshire DED. I believe that should be DES.
Yeah.
Because
There you go.
DED is the Division of Economic Development, and I'm not sure they're concerned about private wells. Obviously, I'm not opposed to potable drinking water, but the enforcement component of this is concerning. And I'm also wondering how the planning board is planning on using this enforcement policy.
Well, I think it says enforcement can prohibit. It's not saying it's going to, but if there's an apartment building on a well and somebody complains about it, yes, it's probably can be enforced because there's people that could die if there's contaminants,
That
but
would be considered public,
But
not a
that's-
private.
Well, that's like a
oh,
septic
that's a
system.
private person owns it.
But that's,
Catherine
And
is
it
a
does
former
say
health
private
officer. How do you
wells.
enforce septic systems?
Private wells are responsible for their own testing. It says that.
but as far as the planning board is concerned, we're not involved in
No.
water testing.
No, it says local officials and health officers.
Well, I'd like to know what local officials,
Select board.
The selectmen.
I mean, the budget committee are officials.
Yeah,
And we are not going
The
to
board
do
of
that.
selectmen,
Catherine, that's
and I know the
playing a
board of
word
selectmen
game.
is the health
That's playing a
department for the
word game, and I
town.
don't think that's necessary.
I'm
I would
sick.
leave that last bullet out completely, and I'd leave the one out above because private wells,
They're
the
responsible.
planning
their own.
board doesn't have any responsibility for, private residential property unless it's, apartment buildings but for single family residence, we don't.
Yeah, I mean, if
So do we
if
define
There's
you're
no
building a
private wells
house,
though?
if
I
you're
mean-
building a house, DES will say whether or not you can have a well and what kind of well and all that stuff.
Nope.
Well, they set all the setback, like there are properties where you
They
You
can't
have to
put
have
in
a
a septic
test
in
it.
a
They
well.
don't
So
test
many
it.
feet away from your septic system, but
That's
they
it.
don't
That's
require
about
you to
it.
test your water.
Yeah.
I have two wells that are over 100 years old. I don't have to test them unless I feel like it. Of course, I feel like it quite often. But I mean, the point is, single family home private well is just that. Even as health officer, there's no,
Well, what it
No
says about
authority.
private wells
What if
is
they're
that
renting and it's if they have a
individuals
well?
with
that's
private
different.
wells are.
No, it's
private.
not.
Can we have one conversation, please?
Well, I was still talking, but
I
that's
know.
okay.
Well, we were going on.
Go
Go
ahead.
ahead.
No, go ahead.
No, you go ahead, Catherine.
A private home that's being rented to somebody else is now a business because it's owned. The owner is renting it, so that puts it in a different category.
So that would eliminate the word private well if they're renting.
Well,
Interesting.
because you need to have a contract, and then a landlord is required to provide certain services by the state, and if you can't provide electricity or clean drinking water, then
Okay.
typically you are required to rehouse, tenants within a certain amount of time,
There's James.
My comment was it says in the one above, which I believe Catherine said shouldn't be there either. Private wells, it's saying what people with private wells are responsible for, that they're responsible for testing their own.
But as a planning board, why would we be telling private well owners what their responsibility is? It's not our job.
Because it's not a planning
It's
board.
not something our zoning code enforcement officer would go out and enforce. It's not required.
Are you accepting any comments from online?
Thing.
Yes.
Yeah, Chuck Mitchell on Calebville Road. Under the enforcement, and I had a chance to look at that earlier. That would probably be okay if it were to be designated for both public and private water systems. There are areas where there are multiple homes, mobile homes, a whole bunch of categories, but there are private water systems that would be very much good, the enforcement for both public water as well as the private water systems, just not for private homes.
Any other comments on the planning board?
The only thing that I think of is my well is down 208 feet. And from the time it takes the surface water to get to my well is 10,000 years. That's how slowly it permeates through the bedrock. In between bedrocks, there's these pockets, and they're called aquifers. And that's where most of the a good well digger knows exactly where they are by the feel of the drill going in. Plus the fact I have two ways of filtering my water as it comes out of the pump. And I have my water tested periodically as a resident. People on public water supplies, they're tested all the time. Those waters are tested all the time and treated constantly, back and forth. My water isn't treated, it's filtered. I have a lot of manganese and iron in my water. And the equipment that I have doesn't get all of the iron and all of the manganese out, but it's not to the point it's toxic. It's not the point that my body can't adjust to it. So when we're talking about the salt from the roads, that is a concern 10,000 years from now. Or it all depends on how far down the aquifer is. Some places like in Arizona, it's down 4 or 5 miles. But here, the average is 200 feet. If you get out to Cape Cod, it's 20 feet, 30 feet. It's all sand, goes right down. So as far as requiring a homeowner to have his water tested, it's in his own best interest. We can't go out there. We can't go into a person's house and knock on the door and say, we come and test your water. It's not going to happen. So I'm kind of thinking that those last two paragraphs need to be omitted. But
This seems to be so controversial. I'm beginning to think we should omit the whole thing.
Well, I guess
No.
why do we need a definition of potable water, or what problem are we solving by?
The reason is that people that have, and I don't know if it applies in Tilton, but people that have campers and they have to have outside water, and they may some people just collect rainwater. That's not potable water. And we have to protect people from themselves sometimes, unfortunately.
So I guess I'm in favor of removing the bullet of private wells. And then under enforcement, get rid of the local officials' words and just leave health officers.
Well, the
How about that?
planning board's jurisdiction is not
Local
enforcing.
official.
So remove that altogether?
Yeah.
We can leave out local officials.
I mean, DES is really the main organization that deals with drinking water.
So if they call Pat and say, hey, my water is terrible, she sends them to DES?
No, she should call the health officer.
I'm just going
Okay,
to say
and then
it's the
they
health
go to
officer.
DES?
So
No, when the health officer goes out and checks it out.
Okay.
So if we eliminate local official and have health officer, not officer, since we only have one, can prohibit the use of water that is
We
found to
can't,
be
right?
unfit
But
for
why
drinking.
would the planning board have that in there?
I mean, do we need any of the bullet points?
Automatically, and then they go to
Pardon?
DES.
Yeah.
Do we need any of the bullet points?
I don't think so.
Because we don't do enforcement.
Well, if you
We're not
read,
going to cover private wells. Treatment and standards and health and safety, the first two are kind of covered by the definition.
the
In
first two bullets are
paragraph.
kind of repetitive.
Yeah. Water that is safe to drink and is free from impurities in amount sufficient to cause disease or
Is up there,
harmful
yeah.
physiological effects. And so that's based on state laws and regulations from, DES and potentially other agencies. So
So no bullets.
And we have, another thing we have, it says for certain substances, which could be radon and arsenic or any others that aren't mentioned.
Right.
So we don't have to be
So if
specific
we
in doing
eliminate
that.
all these, it's already in this.
Yeah,
Widely available, it's out. I mean, just go with the definition,
Yeah.
potable water.
Yeah, because I mean,
We
the
do
state
need the
could
definition.
change regulations at any time. Like manganese might be something we have to start treating for public water supplies soon. So
And, it's always nice to reference the agency. It says in New Hampshire in the very top part, potable water. It would be nice to say the Department of Environmental Services describes potable water as. If I
Okay,
remember
so,
correctly, the last time I looked it up, which was quite a while ago, they referred to FEMA. They were kind of, DES was kind of in the middle of exactly what is potable water. But we should, reference DES. And if you look at some of our zoning ordinances, they do reference DES.
NHDES.
Yeah,
yeah, so right,
So,
this
right.
word, New
New Hampshire
Hampshire,
Department of Environmental
So,
Services.
so after
HDES.
potable water, in
in, just say,
In
get rid
New-
of the word in too.
New Hampshire, potable water is defined. This means
No, New Hampshire Department of Employment,
Take out in New Hampshire and put
NHDES.
NHDES. Well, I'd put New Hampshire.
Well,
that
we
doesn't
should-
make sense though, because you're saying in New Hampshire.
No, you say, the definition of potable water. New Hampshire Department of Environmental Services.
Defines,
Potable
okay,
water is
defines
defined
potable water.
as.
In New Hampshire,
So you have to spell it out, say New Hampshire Department of Environmental Services, parentheses, NHDES.
Yeah,
Potable water is defined as.
no,
in New
Yes.
Hampshire, DES defines potable water. Is that all right?
No, potable water is defined, the rest is defined. So eliminate the bullets.
New Hampshire, DES.
Comma,
No, that-
potable water is defined as water, blah, 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 blah.
We have to have something like per New Hampshire, DES.
Okay, yeah, per.
Okay. Comma. Everybody agreeable to that?
yes,
yes.
And then eliminate all the bullet points.
Yes.
Everybody agrees to that?
Yes.
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 Okay. Anything else? Are you happy with that if we eliminate those?
I'd like to see the final version before.
I think we have to have another meeting anyways.
We have
'cause
to have
it's-
another
We're making a
meeting.
changing, yeah, yeah.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Thank you, Mrs. Mitchell.
All right, anybody else have anything on these, so we can go on? We still have 15. But nobody has anything else? Nobody online has anything else
For the amendments.
for the amendments? I'll close the public hearing. Thank you. Yes, we're gonna leave it, we did.
No, we kind of left it up in the air.
No, I thought we said we
Which
were
one?
all set.
Backland lot, we left it up in the air.
Yeah,
Well,
because.
I thought we were gonna leave it as is
That's what you
because
said,
all of the
because of,
The items
stuff that were
somewhere
removed
else.
were
Yeah.
relocated.
Not go around the board and go, yes, no, yes, no. We didn't have a
Okay.
Yeah.
consensus.
Okay,
all
start
right,
that.
all right, backland lots, before we go on then, I'll reopen the public hearing. On backland lots.
Amendment
Page,
2.
on page 41, table 2.0, it covers all the things we were looking for. So that if we leave it exactly like we have it, there won't be an issue. Is everybody agreeable to
Are
that?
you talking about replacing the current definition
Yes,
with
Yes.
amendment number
Amendment number 2.
2?
yes.
Can we take out the last two sentences that are repeating what has been said in the top? At least I seem to think it is. Backland lot means a lot that does not have frontage or public street. And then it says New Hampshire term backland lot to first parcel land that is lacks direct access to a public road. Am I reading it wrong? But I think it's repetitive.
I think we could remove the last sentence about the
Accessing.
easement because we have the typically accessed via easement over another property further up. But we are not saying that we're not talking about landlocked in
No.
any other
So
part besides that second to last sentence.
it says in New Hampshire. What does that mean?
Where do you see that?
In New
Amendment number
Hampshire-
2, down the second to the last sentence says in New Hampshire. So
Yeah,
where in New
okay,
Hampshire?
In New Hampshire.
The state, roads, DOT? Where is that? Where do we find in New Hampshire the term backland lot? Department of Economic Development? See what I mean?
So would you want to remove the first
I think we're already
portion of
saying
that sentence?
Why, again, it's, to me, it's repetitive. We're already saying up there that a backland lot needs, is a lot that does not have access on a public street. This one says lacks direct access to a public road. Road, street, to me, it's the same thing. But they're saying the same thing. Except that one says in New Hampshire, again. I think we'd have to pin that down. In
Well,
what
then we
department?
should, does not have frontage on a public street or public road. I think we need to add road too.
Or just put
What's the difference
on a public
between
street
public-
lacks direct access to the public street.
I think you just need to leave out the last two
Oh, okay.
sentences. Because you're repeating yourself.
Landlocked.
Take out the last two sentences.
Last two sentences.
That's the same thing.
Yeah, but, I want to add street or road
And just put where up at the top where it says on a public street
or
or road.
road. Yeah, I'd like to add that. Everybody okay with that?
Yes.
Yes,
I'm fine.
everybody has to.
Yeah, and then just cross out the last two sentences.
Are there instances where a lot would be a backland lot and not be landlocked?
No,
If they have their own frontage
They have their own
and not an
frontage.
easement, they would have a long driveway or whatever to that they can be but this is,
It
But if
wouldn't
they
be
have their own
landlocked
frontage,
then.
it's not a
not
not a
backland lot.
backland lot.
yeah, that's
Right.
not landlocked.
But I mean, what if someone were to have a lot where like one of the boundary lines was on, a highway or something like that, where like it's not, well, I guess that is landlocked then still.
But that's not
Yeah. Alright.
landlocked if it has boundary on a public way, street, road, highway, then it's not backland.
Yeah.
If it had public,
But like
if it
what
had
it,
boundary to the
I have a
interstate,
backland lot, don't I?
it would still be a backland lot because you can't access the interstate for
Yeah,
private property.
yeah, that's kind of more my point. Like, what if it's a parcel and, one of the lines, backs up onto like 93 or something like that, then
It
like
would
is
still be
that-
landlocked,
backland because
yeah.
it still doesn't have access
Yeah.
to the public way. Interesting, isn't it?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're adding the words or road and eliminating the last two sentences,
Yes.
correct?
Yes. Is everybody agreeable to that?
Yes.
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 Okay. Anything else? Any comments from the audience? Now I'll close the public hearing.
Done. Done.
we're ready for our first case, which is Planning Board Case 25-18. It's a continuation from our December 9th meeting. It's, Brian, hi.
Good evening, board. Brian
Yeah,
Wojcik.
sorry you had to wait so long, but it's
Oh, no, that's okay.
that time of year.
That's all right. I appreciate your time. Per your request at the last meeting where I was seeking approval, we did get a letter from the buyers of the lot, Sam and Jenny Ryerson, stating their intentions for the lot. I don't know if you had all received copies or not.
Yep.
I think
Oh,
we
yeah.
all have, a
Yep.
copy.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Yep.
I believe
it's
that
notarized,
satisfies
which
what
is
you had
good.
asked for.
Mhm. It's notarized,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah, makes it binding.
Can't see it here. I lost mine.
I lost my
It's
agenda.
somewhere in here.
On the
I
opposite
have
side
it.
of that page.
Oh, I know where
You
it
got
is.
Yep. Yep.
I knew I'd seen it. Thank you.
It's on the opposite side of the map, Tom.
All right, you like to comment?
If there's no other requirements or any other requests for approval, I'd like to move forward and have the board approve this lot line adjustment.
Comments from the planning board?
I make a motion to accept the lot line adjustment for planning board case 25-18.
Second.
All in favor?
Hi.
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, thank you very much.
Peace.
All right.
Thank you. Again, I apologize that you had to wait so long. All right, the next case is
26.
Planning Board Case 26-01, 148 East Main Street, Mixed Use Zone, Mario Lopez. I'll make a motion to bring the application to the floor for consideration. For a second,
Second.
all right. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right.
Madam Chair,
Mhm.
There's an error on the agenda. His name is Willem and not Mario.
It's what?
Willem, not Mario.
Willem?
Yeah, Wilman Lopez.
Okay,
And
sorry.
Mario.
It's all right.
Whose phone is that? Oh.
Whose
It's on the
phone is that?
application.
Hmm?
You'll see it on the
The
application.
sewer. Are we allowed to entertain this application if this is not allowed in the mixed use?
Well, I think, don't we have to entertain it?
Well, it's up for
to-
discussion, so.
Don't we have to entertain it to,
Yes, and then
Determine
a
if it
condition would
is
be for it to
allowed?
Go someplace else. if
Oh,
it
it's a
has to.
zone, okay.
All right. So right now, we're looking at the application. Make sure that it's complete.
It is not.
well, if it wasn't complete, then it wouldn't even get to,
Right.
is it
Come back,
allowed
okay.
zoning wise?
So it's not
I
complete.
just want to make sure that the applicant is aware of whatever he needs to do to come back. But if you look at the required documents for a site plan, they're not there. Information's not there.
So if it's incomplete, um, do
I'm
we
sorry.
continue or?
Can you list what's incomplete, please?
Okay.
Well, I can say, this isn't incomplete, but this is going further. As far as I'm concerned, this map is not acceptable.
Well, it's not,
There's no measurements.
yeah, if you look at, not even the application, but if you look at your site plan review regulations, on page 2, starting with Roman numeral 4, almost all of this is missing. Although snow storage is on it. So, plan of all buildings, it says, following items are required on the site plan. Plan of all buildings with their type, size, location, elevation of the first floor slab, an elevation view of all buildings indicating their height, bulk, and surface treatment, location of off-street parking and loading spaces. And this should indicate that there isn't any, but it doesn't. It also doesn't show the street.
Right.
Um,
It's also missing a lot of the information in the preliminary section of the application itself. Name of property owners, abutting property owners, map, lot number from.
Can I just speak for a minute?
Mhm.
So practically, basically what I need is, I have a tow truck, right? I don't have a lot of money, so if there's no preparation, that's probably why, because I don't have enough knowledge for, basically what I need is permission to store 4 vehicles in my property. Um, And I'm building a garage, and I want to run my business out of there. And I only have 1 tow truck, so it's not, it's not a big corporation or anything like that. I just need permission to run basically my what I do out of my.
According to our chart of permitted uses,
Mhm.
what you want to do on that property is not allowed.
I could understand that, but things change, and there's a shop right next door, a auto repair shop. I'm not looking to repair any vehicles in there. All I'm looking to do is have 4 vehicles in case, let's say, I tow a vehicle that was in an accident that needs to be stored for a week for insurance to come look at it. That's all I need. I don't need to fix, repair, or anything like that. And there is a repair shop right next door, so I don't see why what I'm.
Sir, because we have zoning laws and regulations.
I do understand.
And we are not a board that just gives permission or says, okay, if you want to do that, you can.
Mhm.
We're a quasi-legal board, and we're bound by certain rules and regulations.
So where
So
does
for
this?
that reason, we need you to understand that and adhere to those rules and regulations.
And I do understand if but so what would be different than, I'm on 148, 142, there's a repair shop, which is, what changes in between, just like a property line?
He came to the planning board, number
No,
one.
zoning.
No,
I
that was,
don't-
so that property. I remember when they came. That property that you're referring to up the street from you? east
Next
of
door.
you?
Next door.
Next door.
Next door.
Okay.
Mhm.
That property, oh, that's right, you're in Rogers' property.
Mhm.
That property
Rogers, yep.
was grandfathered, if you will. It was a welding shop that had
Yep.
been there for decades. And he made a case to, I believe it was the zoning board
We
of
sent him
adjustment.
to the zoning
that
board.
he had in fact been repairing cars all of those decades. Do you understand what a grandfathered or non-conforming use is?
Yeah, I do understand that.
It has to have occurred, the use has to have occurred when it was allowed. So that's what happened to that property.
Mhm.
Your property has always been a single-family residential home in a mixed-use area. And in mixed use in our zoning, automotive use is not allowed. So this board is the planning board. We
Mhm.
cannot give you a variance from our ordinances. That can only be done at the zoning board of adjustment, which is a different board.
Yeah, yeah,
But
no,
Pat
I
can help you
understand.
with that.
Yeah, I understand. I did came in 2024, and my business is, you know, um, I've been running my business, so it's registered, but I just do it mobily. So
Are you telling us you've been running that business on that property?
mobile, yes. 'Cause I did
Mobile.
register it.
He's been doing it. He's a mobile
So he didn't
mechanic.
store
So you're
Yeah.
not doing anything on your
No.
property?
I'm not doing anything on the property,
You
but
leave your property and do it somewhere else?
yes.
That's a good service.
And he,
Yeah, but it's not that, sorry, it's not, it doesn't give me a lot of money. So I'm looking for other things to do. I mean, it's probably, you don't need to know that, but I just made $14,000 last year. So it's not, it doesn't keep bread on the table.
If
So-
you come back to us,
Mhm.
don't be discouraged by this not having all the information. Just go through
And add it.
and add it,
Okay.
and add it. If you,
I just don't know where, there's a lot of stuff. I don't know where to start. So like,
well, it's like, the street is missing, the arrow that shows us the direction is,
Mhm.
if you go through it step by step, I'm sure you can get it.
Yeah.
But just don't be discouraged by,
you have
So-
you have a computer?
Yeah, I do.
If you go on there, they'll give you examples of what, of a acceptable drawing for like a map.
Mhm.
And people hand draw them all the time.
yes.
Okay.
Yeah, it's
So-
it's not the
First one, we said, come back.
Yeah.
it's not the quality of the artwork, so to say. It's
Yeah.
the information contained within it. So
Okay.
it can
You can draw it, but
be like this,
Mhm.
but just with all of the required information.
Okay. And are you guys able to say what it is that I need? What information that I need?
So if you look in the application,
Can we give him a copy of what you were reading? The size, oh, she's got it. So Pat, do we vote to continue this so that he has a chance to go to zoning and doesn't have to do this again? Okay.
Yeah,
And bring this,
so essentially, even though we didn't make it into the application and everything because of completeness, the use he's looking for isn't currently allowed in that location.
right.
If this had been an auto shop for, the past
Well,
50
I'm not
years and you
sure
bought it,
that-
then, it would be a grandfathered
what he's
thing,
asking to do
like
is
the
really
property
store
next
stuff.
door.
To store 4 vehicles,
but
sometimes a week at a time.
But so essentially, he would need to go to zoning
Yep.
to get a variance special exception to allow operating a tow company out of that location and doing the vehicle storage.
And you have to, and storing things.
Storing 4
Storing
vehicles.
4 vehicles at a
Yes.
time. Yeah.
See, when you came to us before,
Mhm.
you just wanted to put things in your garage. Now you're running a storage business. It's a little bit
Well,
different,
towing, yeah.
and towing.
Yeah.
Well,
Commercial parking lot.
So
of
let me ask
garage.
you a question. So there's a shop, like 7 houses up the street, the Honda dealer, was that grandfather in too?
They're not mixed use.
Is a different zone?
In fact, I think they are the first property in that zone, aren't they?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
Unfortunately, they butt up against the mixed use and there's no alleyway.
And it's
there's
interesting
no
that you brought that
barrier
up
between
because
the
that's the
two.
first thing I checked with you, Pat.
yeah, you're,
Okay.
You're essentially on the border almost.
Yeah, yeah.
But again, you can go to the zoning board of adjustment and ask for a variance,
Okay.
having no idea.
Can that be a condition of approval or?
No,
No, because we can just,
then you'd have
Not
to
even
come back
allowed.
to us.
Okay.
Yeah,
But
after
there's no
zoning.
guarantee what the zoning board would say.
But they're gonna continue your case, so you just come back so you don't have to pay the fee and all that kind of stuff again.
Okay. So I'll go to zoning and then come back to you guys.
Mhm.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah. Pat, when's the next zoning meeting?
January 20th. But he's not gonna be eligible for that, so it's gonna be, hold on, I got it right here. February 17th.
you don't have to have a professional kind of map. Just use a ruler to draw your lines and say what those lines are and how long they are, like 10 feet or that sort of thing.
Okay.
That's what we need to know.
And I mean,
Right.
the compass could literally be a cross with, NESW. Like it
Yeah.
doesn't need to be anything fancy. It just needs to, if snow storage is a requirement, that can just be a rectangle that says snow storage.
Okay.
Yeah, once you add all those, you can have Pat or Cindy, somebody look at it to make
We
sure
can help you
everything's
with
on
that.
there.
You'll,
Just for my own edification, like there's nothing that would prevent him from like renting space in a district that does allow automotive and storing
Just-
cars
right,
there,
not in
but
his
like
property, yeah.
have
not
the
on his
business
property, yes.
have the business like run out of his home and keep the truck there and everything like that. But the actual vehicle storage, which is
Was off-site.
yeah.
Yeah.
But the automotive business was being conducted in a zone that allowed it.
Right. No, but I'm saying like he could, if he were to like rent that lot across from the school where e-cars was, if that's
Yep.
zoned for,
Yeah.
vehicle storage and stuff like that, he could keep his truck there, launch, business filings from that property, all that jazz. And
But I
then,
think money's an issue.
Money,
yeah,
yeah.
obvious. Yes, that's
Okay.
Yeah.
that's a thing. But yeah,
And I do park my vehicle, my truck in my property.
yeah, which is
I was allowed-
totally
I was allowed to
fine.
do that, so
As
it's- Yeah, I don't think that's an issue.
you're only
Think of
limited
it
to a
as
certain
bringing
number of
your work
unregistered
vehicle
vehicles.
home with you.
Excuse me?
I said, think of it as bringing your work vehicle home with you.
Yeah, yeah.
As long as it's just parked there and not being used on the property.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I guess I'll make a motion to continue planning board case 2601 to February 24th, Pat? That's our next meeting after the zoning.
Yes. Yes.
Wait a second.
Second.
I'm sorry. I thought I said- All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
It's so he doesn't have to post it again and all that stuff.
Mhm.
All right, so I'm gonna keep that. And this.
5-0.
So, all set. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good night. Pardon?
All right.
I know,
Okay.
but I think we helped him. I like what you said, Nate, about his drawing. That was good.
All right, the last thing we have is approval of minutes for 11:25 and 12:09. Has everybody had an opportunity to read them? I did, and I'll make a motion to approve the minutes for 11:25 as written.
Second,
All in favor?
aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Make a motion to approve the minutes for 12:09 as written. Wait a second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed?
Abstain?
Okay.
If I abstain, do you have enough to approve that one? Okay.
Are we all set? No further business?
Any new business?
I'll
That's
entertain a motion. Do you have something, Pat?
I do. There are two things that I wanted to let the planning board know about. One is that I think that you've either read it in the paper or watched the Selectmen's meeting about the gas shortage in the town of Tilton, the gas volume in the town of Tilton.
Holy crap.
It's not only in the town of Tilton, but we noticed it first and foremost because all of our developments are affected by it. There's no more gas volume at all in Tilton, no hookups whatsoever. So any of our developments have to go through propane, electric heat pumps, or some other source. There is, because of we had Liberty Utilities and all of the upper echelon people here with the Board of Selectmen. Lakes Region Planning Commission is on board, and now our one and only Jeannie Forster is heading up a task force to find out what, where, and how this is going to go forward. When it's going forward, according to the Liberty Utilities, it's anywhere between 7 and 10 years by the time that they get their act together and engineering and so on and so forth. And it has to be a financial investment for them. And, we have 400 homes that were approved. What more financial investment can that bring to the town of Tilton? That's just residential, never mind commercial. So there's quite a bit of incentive just here in Tilton. It affects 6 other communities: Franklin, Northfield, Belmont, Guilford, Laconia. So they have 10 more miles of pipeline to fix out of 22 that they had started for about 5 years ago. And that is a huge problem here in Tilton right now. If the person that their house burnt down and wanted to reconnect, if they build, it's not going to be connected. That's how serious an
That's
issue
horrible.
Oh, wow.
it's become.
Well,
And they were already on it.
well.
We can yell a lot.
If they do, so if your house burnt down, you can rebuild it and reconnect, as long as you don't increase your volume. You don't add anything. Like if you had an oil furnace and you decided to put in a gas furnace, not going to happen.
Well, they've
It would
already
have
been
to be
told it's not
exactly
happening.
the same volume.
We're going to have to knock on doors because they've already been told it's not going to happen. So what they said and what is really happening is
It's two different
two different things.
Wow.
Yep.
I thought this was like wider impacting than just those communities. I thought it was pretty much like everything north of Concord.
No,
like,
they
there's
fixed
not
up till
capacity.
they fixed
No, they
actually,
fixed all
word
that.
has it, they fixed up till McDonald's, but that's what word has. But they've actually said to the Concord line, that's 22 miles, but it's actually 10 miles according to the big shots. The
And
other
I've
thing,
heard a lot of rumors, and I really don't know
right, what's true and
what's
what's
true and
not.
what isn't.
No,
If you
I
ask-
thought it was a capacity
it-
issue.
If you ask the workers, that's who I would believe in, but
Right.
it's a little bit less than what they're telling us, but.
Wow.
So the other thing I wanted to tell you is that there are potential prospective developments happening on a Class 6 road, and we checked on it, what we can do. We're in the process of checking legally what we can do because we've already checked on, we've already granted a subdivision on a Class 6 road already 2 years ago. There are new laws that just changed in September of 2025. We need to be aware of them. We're looking at them now, and July 1 of 2026, even more stringent laws go into effect that in a subdivision, I hope I say this right, in a subdivision, they will now require the Board of Selectmen to make sure on a Class 6 development that they have to prove individually that the lot is insurable before,
By who?
What?
by the builder, that the lot is insurable and that each and every lot is registerable by the waiver that we have given them, that has to be recorded before a building permit is issued.
Mhm.
So a lot of different changes coming up with the Class 6. I guess there's quite a bit in New Hampshire and building on Class 6 roads. So there's 3 potential proposals on a Class 6 highway on that. And I am going to send out a webinar, the do's and don'ts of a Class 6 and private roads. It's about an hour long. It's very, very informative, what you can and can't do on the Class 6 road. And sometimes it's even more confusing and you have to have some legalese help you out with it, but it's worth it. I'm going to send it out. We took it a while back. I had to re-listen to it the other day because I do have a proposal coming in the very near future. So we'll send you the PowerPoint on this and the link on the YouTube because we downloaded it from there so that it's worth looking at.
Are there a lot of issues in the state with like home buyers getting taken advantage of and, purchasing properties on Class 6 roads and then finding out they're not insurable
these
or
are old-
occupable or?
These are old properties that have been in existence for a very long time that people are now going to subdivide, number one, so they can stay in Tilton for a while longer, or the people before them have passed away and it's nieces or nephews that are going to do a development on the property itself.
Right. No, I'm just
There are people
about
that,
the change in law and like the more stringent requirements is that because there are issues going on with like builders selling houses that you can't get insured?
there are people that have bought on Class 6 roads
Right.
that, because remember, Class 6 roads can be subject to gates and bars, like part of our range roads.
Discontinued, right?
People have bought property without really investigating it and finding out that the town doesn't maintain the road. They're going to have to, and they have to get permission from the Board of Selectmen to build on it.
And they sign a waiver that says it's not going to be maintained, that we don't send an ambulance or a fire truck down there. So that's what they're waiving their rights to. And they do that. They have done that. If you
Well,
remember that they've.
Not that we don't send fire trucks
Right.
and ambulances. If the road isn't
Passable.
passable for a fire truck and
They're not
ambulance,
gonna go
So
down.
they can
They
turn
won't go.
around or whatever.
hence the uninsured part.
Correct.
So,
I mean, could you even get?
I've got one signed.
Could you get a certificate of occupancy from the fire department on a new single family if they can't?
You have to get a
provide
building
services?
permit in order to get a certificate of
Right.
occupancy, and there's not going to be a building permit issued unless you have that certificate of insurance, and then
that's
it's-
the new law.
that's going to be a snowballing on a Class 6. It's not just a sign off, okay, and then, oh, well, you signed it, and it's registered in the Registry of Deeds. And anybody that buys that lot, it will come up under the title search. So they're going to know that that's what you're signing. So that's what's going to happen. And
The other thing people are discovering when they buy on a Class 6 road, electricity does not necessarily go down that Class 6 road.
It
Yeah.
can be
They have
very
to put it in.
expensive to get it.
And that's
done.
expensive.
The pole's expensive.
Yes.
very expensive.
I can give
$7,500 a
you that.
pole,
A pole.
and you don't own it.
You don't own it.
Nope, you
Yeah.
don't own
And
it.
they require an easement. 'Cause
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
had
they
to
have
put
a
power on
that's
mine.
right.
Yeah.
Well,
Required.
and then there's something in here, and I'm not going to quote because I'm going to get in trouble if I quote it, on a right-of-way or easement on a Class 6 road is now, I'm not going to say illegal because there's a catch, but pretty much,
Okay.
pretty much.
Wasn't it fun?
So it's, the catch on this do's and don'ts by January 27th. Otherwise, our download expires.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
well, I'll send it out tomorrow and, it's really worth the read. But I do remember a selectman a while back, quite a while in my tenure, said that there's not much more land in Tilton to build. And I just got a call yesterday exploring a 100-acre plot next to J. Jill. I have no idea where all this land they're finding to build on, but they're finding it
It's
Yeah.
worth
somewhere. Somewhere they're finding it. 100-acre next to J. Jill. No, I have no idea what for, but it's coming. That's
I'd
it.
just be concerned about like if I bought on a Class 6 road. Okay, I can get insurance today, but what about 2 years from now?
It'll be
5 years
grandfathered.
Yeah, but then you'd be
It's-
grandfathered in for the property, but you bought a house that you suddenly can't insure anymore, like people are running into down in like Florida and some
At
other
some
places.
point, you could do an HOA or something or an association and get them to upgrade the road. But is what it is. But
Petition warrant article.
yeah, or a petition warrant article
Taxes,
if it's up to standards.
More taxes.
No, less taxes.
more. You've got to maintain a road.
Yeah, that's expensive, especially when you have to rebuild it.
Yeah, because it's
I've been on enough roads to know after 5 years when the road comes apart.
a
costs
million
three-
a mile.
It costs 3 times the money to fix it.
Yep.
3 times, not twice, 3
And
times.
it's never as good.
Nope.
All right, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Second.
Motion to adjourn.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Hi.
Aye.